Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Panther Nation Podcast. I'm Sam Rupe, and I'm here with JB, and we're going to get into a little Panther Recap.
So girls soccer beat Fisher Catholic 2-0.
Boys soccer lost to Tri-Valley 9-0.
Both play at Cambridge on Thursday.
Volleyball sweeps Crooksville, and now they play Thursday at Coshocton.
Cross country plays tonight at Backwoods.
And for golf, Hunter Hevner is competing at districts this morning. Good luck, Hunter.
Football beat Coshocton last week, and they play Maysville this week.
And we're going to send it to my favorite interviewer and a person that JB personally looks up to, literally. Sam Rupe, take it away. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with Doug Clifford, Coach Board, and Tanner Toth, and we're going to be talking about last week's game along with this week's game. So, Coach Board, last week's blowout win looked dominant on the scoreboard. How would you grade the team's overall performance?
I thought we played well, Sam. You held them scoreless. We held first half 6 yards, no first down. So defensively we played well. We had 2 defensive scores. Offensively, we had a couple possessions inside the red zone that we didn't capitalize on. That, as the offensive coach, those are things that kind of drive me up a wall. Those are free points you're just kind of giving away. So I would say we played well, though. I mean, we executed well. We had a couple guys that were out. Some new guys stepped in and played some reps at a level they hadn't really been playing to this point. So overall, I thought it was good. Anytime you win, it's a good thing. We always want to have the best game possible, and I don't know that we played our absolute best, but still a very good performance by all.
Tanner, you weren't able to dress due to injury. What was it like watching from the sidelines, and how did you stay involved with your unit?
It was different, but I talked to our defensive line coach through the week, and I told him, I said, because he usually runs the defensive iPad, and I told him, I said, would it be all right if I had that this week? And he said, yeah, you can take it because my guys play both ways. He goes, I can't talk to him at all. I said, all right. I said, I'll hold on to it. Well, that was my job. I felt like through the week and on Friday night, I felt that I needed to have that iPad and coach my guys as they came off the field. Those younger guys that even play and maybe help out Harry in times. But even on offensive, those H's that took my spot this week, I felt that I needed to help them out because they haven't played there all season. I felt that was my job this week.
Penalties were a noticeable issue despite the big win. So, Coach, how do you plan to address that this week in practice?
No, that's something that we've talked about. There's a couple of this, a couple of that. Some that we felt like, well, maybe not. But at the end of the day, we got to be better. There's a couple times we have receivers that are blocking third level defenders that it's tough to say, hey, we can't hold and we can't block that hard because then you're discouraging extreme effort. And that's something I don't think that you want to do. I think that if you're going to encourage that and you're going to hope for that, sometimes you have to take those penalties and just realize that, hey, listen, it may be a penalty, but I've got a receiver pancaking a safety. That's a good thing, and we just got to do it better. Do it a better way, make sure our hands are in the right spot. So we just continue to coach the details, making sure our offensive linemen, our hands are inside. Make sure that if we're behind the runner, you got to let go of the block. No block behind a run is ever a good block. So that's something we've talked about. Something that if we want to be the very best that we can be, we've got to minimize a little bit better. But a lot of them are effort penalties. Lane had a sideline warning because he's chasing Mason down the field on his pick six. That it's just he's super excited for his teammate, and you just got to realize you can't do it in that zone. You got to be behind the orange, not up in the black, running with the official. Because if his elbow hits you and he falls down, then that touchdown comes off the board. So that's something we've got to continue to work on. But there's some that are great effort that we just have to be a little better about.
We used to call those full speed mistakes. If it's done at full speed, well, you really can't criticize the kid too much. Right. The ones that used to drive me crazy are when the left tackle takes off 3 seconds before the rest of his friends do.
Yeah.
Those drive me crazy.
Yeah, the pre-snap penalties, those are definitely the ones that are frustrating because that's just being undisciplined, not doing what you're supposed to do. The ones during the play where, like you said, you're going full speed and it just happens to be a little bit of tug of the jersey or a little bit of this or a little bit too late. Those are things that we can encourage and just get better at, understand the situations. But the ones pre-snap are the ones that really can kill your drives and are frustrating to me.
Oh, no doubt.
Tanner, from a leadership standpoint, how do you talk to teammates about staying sharp and disciplined when a game can get lopsided?
For example, Colton came off the field after that fumble on the 1 yard line. That's something that's going to happen in a game. I mean, obviously you don't want that on your first drive when you're right there, when you took the ball 70 yards down the field and you're about to score. But that's just a point where you walk over to a teammate, you're like, hey, you're good. This is a game that we think that we're – I mean, in a big game, that's something that's maybe an issue when it comes down to the end. But in a game like that, you're just like, hey, keep your head up. I mean, you're fine. You're going to have to take the rest of the carries because obviously Paul got banged up there. But, I mean, we knew that he was going to do the job that he needed to do, and we just told him to keep his head up, and he was fine.
To both of you, was there a player or a moment last week that really stood out as a spark?
I wouldn't say spark, but I would say that, I mean, in both my spots, I felt that both my backups, I mean, went in and did the jobs they needed to do. I mean, they may not have had the game that, I mean, people are just like, man, that kid played lights out, but I mean, they went in and did the job they needed to do. So I felt that helped the team out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's some guys that stepped in. Offensively, Clayton Locke had a good game. He's really kind of been a rotational guy, and then he went in and played a different position he'd been playing all year and had a really big catch. Nearly scored. I told him if he just runs the other way just a little bit, he probably does score. But, Dalton Wade as a freshman came in and played some tight end and H-back sets for us. Then defensively, Luke Fink, Nathan Moeller, and Dalton all played there. And so, again, when those guys are playing their first real varsity snaps and having to do a ton of them, for those guys to go in and not look at a place and not feel like they were holding us back in any way, I think that is something that stands out to you. So proud of those guys. I thought Harrison played a really good game. Typically him and him are in there and they're the same person. They're talking. Everything's going 100 miles an hour. So for him to play still the same level without his Bash brother, I guess, that was good. So Harry's done a great job leading for us. He's been big play after big play and just flies to the football.
And Tanner, how's the injury recovery going? And do you have any update on your status for the Maysville game?
I thought it went pretty good. I mean, Friday I was disappointed that I didn't get to play. I mean, as soon as he walked in the door, I walked over to him. I was like, so what's the verdict? He goes, I told you what I thought was best for the team, and I said, all right. And that was obviously sitting out last week to make sure that I was better for the long run, because we're looking, I mean, obviously next game's most important to us, but we're looking at what we can do later on. I mean, for this week, for the Maysville game, I think I'll be good. I mean, obviously there was a couple little cuts or whatever that were kind of, that bothered me a little bit, but I mean, I think I'll be fine. I think once the week comes and I get through all my rehab still this week, I think I'll be good when the day comes.
I had this same situation with one of my inside linebackers, and the same week of the season, and I asked him, do you want to play week 6 or do you want to play week 11? And I said, you think about it tonight. And he came back in the next day because he may have been able to play. And he came in, he said, week 11. So, I think that was a really smart play for the coach to keep you out against a team that you knew you guys were going to win. You probably could have played 9 guys and won that game. Coshocton was really young. I mean, I thought they hit pretty well, but they're so young, and they were really down. Hadn't scored a point now, 3 games in a row. So that was a smart move. We'll see Friday night.
Yeah, looking ahead, Coach, what kind of challenge do the Maysville Panthers present, and how different is their style compared to last week's opponent?
Oh, well, they're well coached. Coach Bowman does a good job. He coached at Morgan for a number of years, so we had those battles back and forth. We won some games with them, lost some games. Maysville's an athletic team. Schematically, they're more of a spread offense on that side. They've got some athletes, some of the guys that played on their state championship basketball team, so they bring a lot back from last year, just like Morgan did earlier in the year. So a lot of experience. Quarterback's a second-year starter, so he's got that year of experience under his belt. They're big up front. You got some big guys up front. Every team poses a little different challenge. It's all about matchups, and they've got a really good receiver. They've got a good back that can run, a quarterback that knows what he's doing, and like you said, a big line. So they have all the tools that you need to be successful. Right now, they're sitting at 3-3, so they're kind of on the outside looking in for the playoffs. So this is a game that for them that, man, if they could get new legs, they got an opportunity to slide into the postseason. So we've got to be on our best performance this week and really execute from the first whistle, because they're going to be laying it all out on the line.
I always worried about playing a team like you did last week. That's not very good, not great speed, and then you're going to jump back into a team. And Maysville, I mean, they're always tough kids. They always, if they're 1-8, they play tough. So I used to worry about my defense especially would not jump up to the next level of speed they're going to have to play. So how do you address that, Coach? How do you address to your kids? They're 3-3, but they're a whole lot better than what we've just seen.
Yeah, we try to keep it goal oriented, and this week's a chance to get to 3-0 in the small school, since Maysville's still in the small school for another year. Which is really where we want to be. We want to be in the driver's spot for that. So I think just keeping small goals, which keep us aligned with where we want to get to. We have a destination we're trying to get to, and these are all steps along the way. But I think defensively we've played very good. Like I said, last week 6 yards in the first half, 2 defensive takeaways, for touchdowns. So I don't think those guys really need encouraged to step up. I think they've played really well all year. So just stepping up to the new challenge and to the new schematics and matchups.
To both of you, what's one key area that the team needs to improve on this week, regardless of the opponent?
I'll say penalties and special teams. We can always be better in special teams. We had a kind of a blunder there on Friday where we kicked the ball, missed the ball, went about a yard, and then we had some guys standing around. But there's a million situations you could practice in football, and you still wouldn't cover them all. So we spent some time talking about specific situations. That was one that we just hadn't talked about, and hey, this is still a live football. Even though we're not, it's not going 10 or it's not close to 10, where usually we say, well, it's not going 10, just go ahead and cover it up. It's hey, we still got to play. So special teams is one area. Thankfully, we missed 2 PATs. Not thankfully. Thankfully, we didn't punt last week, but we missed 2 PATs. We had the kickoff blunder. So special teams obviously is always a focus for us. But like I said, diminishing those mental penalties that they're going to happen. It's part of the game. But the more we can minimize, the better.
So based off of what you know for this week, do you think Paul Stenson is going to be ready to play on Friday?
We'll see. Same with Tanner last week. If last week was week 11, we're playing playoffs, Tanner would have played. He would have battled through it. He would have gritted his teeth. He would have taped it up. He probably would have done whatever he could to get on the field, and he would have been just fine. But we just felt like it was okay for us to try to give him an extra 3 full days of rest before we came back on Monday. Paul will continue to evaluate each day. Yesterday practice, he's limited with, we won't want to take a shot or anything, so we'll probably keep him non-contact throughout the week, but allow him to still get those reps. He knows what he can do on a Friday, and it's one of those things that football is a physical game, so there's always going to be guys that are dinged up or hurt a little bit. A couple weeks ago, Harrison had something going on with his legs, so we put him in an orange jersey, but he still got the reps. He got mental reps and was still ready to play on a Friday, and that was that. So we'll take it a day at a time with Paul. We don't want to put him in a position where he takes another shot and he kind of re-injures it. Now he's set back another week. That if he needs a week to really rest and recover to be good for the long haul, that's what we're going to do with any kid. I would want any kid that plays for me to know that we're going to have this health at the forefront of what we're doing. We don't want to take a chance on re-injuring or injuring worse. Same with Tanner. Like I said, we had last week, could have played, just felt like for the long haul that he was too important to what we're doing, that let's rest him an extra couple of days. We have capable backups at every position, so we feel like that next man up, it's just your turn to come in and play. We know when Paul comes back, he's one of the best guys we have. So whether that's Friday or next Friday, he'll be ready to go. But right now, after just one day of practice, I can't really give that to you. I don't know.
That's the longest I don't know answer I've ever heard in my life.
Well, Tanner, when you return, what are you most excited to bring back to the defense?
I think I'm most excited to bring back my energy or my leadership. I feel like, I'm not trying to be like big-headed or whatever, but I feel like when I'm out there, the communication that I bring to our defense kind of helps out. I had teammates last week. They told me, they said we missed your communication. Harry and those guys did a great job with communication, but I feel like I can just bring an extra, a little bit of communication to our outside backers, to our defensive line. Let our safeties know, hey, we got your help here. You know what I mean? But I think that's what I'm most excited to bring back to our defense is our energy.
I think on defense, you miss a defensive teammate more than any other spot because you depend on that guy so much. If you make a mistake on offense, you get another down. If you make a mistake on defense, you're lining up for the extra point play. So your teammates really depend, you all depend on each other to do your job at that spot. I don't want to sound like Bill Belichick, but you guys all do your job so well, and every teammate knows you have their back. So I think that's an important role. You're exactly right. That communication and reliance on each other is really important on defense.
So what's the mindset or message that you want the team carrying into Friday night with the matchup with Maysville?
Like I said, it's a chance for us to get to 7-0. It's the only chance we have to do that. It's a chance to get 3-0 in the small school. It'll be a great game. I know it's homecoming week, so there's some extra things that are going on throughout the week. So the goal is just stay focused and take care of business. Like I said, we have our own goals. Obviously, I told you for them, if they can win out, they're in the playoffs. So, this game is huge to them because if they don't get it, then they're really counting on some help. Whereas for us, if we lose this one, then we're set back on our goals. So we want to focus on what our goals are, and that's small school title, and then obviously sit at the 1 seed and be taken off week 11. So, like I said, our mentality hasn't changed. It won't change with whoever we play the next week. We're just taking a week at a time, but really just focusing on our own goals. 3-0 the small, 7-0 overall.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about?
Bats aren't biting, so I might as well talk football. So, who do you have to stop on the ground? Who's their primary ball carrier?
The running back in Llewellyn, he's a pretty good athlete. I think he's a 2-year letterman. Good speed. They actually throw it a decent amount, so a lot more balls in the air this week than last week. He's more of a shiftier guy than a power guy. Quarterback's a decent athlete. He can run pretty well. And then they have a receiver, Landon Iden, who's a big member of the basketball team. He's their number 1 receiver. So having a plan for him and wherever he lines up.
So you're going to face a team that throws the ball more often. Are you going to employ more zone or more man-to-man coverage on these guys?
Well, if any Panthers are watching this from Maysville, I can't give out that information, Mr. Clifford. No, I mean, we play our base defense, and that was something that we talked about as a staff a few years ago. We used to have every week, we were kind of really adjusting our schematics and what we were doing. And so, there was not a lot of continuity and longevity for, just consistent reps where the kids were able to really excel in that scheme. And, we just decided, listen, we just got to play our base. Coshocton used to be the big team that we would do. I think I talked to you about that before we played Coshocton, where we had a game plan meeting and went through the whole thing and realized we defended with 12, because we were trying to create a brand new defense, and man, was that 12-man defense tough. There was no holes anywhere.
Canada, anywhere.
No, they had nothing going. And then, a couple years, and then they still just would run it, and they would take advantage of us because our kids were playing slow and we're thinking. And, a couple years ago, we said, well, let's just play our base to it with some small tweaks, small adjustments, and really, compartmentalize what each kid has to do. And we've played them a lot better since we've done that, because you're always better when you're not thinking. If we can just play ball instead of thinking and react, that's what defense is. And if you're thinking and trying to remember, well, what's my job on this, versus, hey, this is our defense, this is what we do, this is my key, here's where I'm going. I think the defenses can play a lot faster. I think that's the strength of our defense, is how fast we play.
Oh, no doubt.
So if we're not thinking about a brand new defense that we've drawn up for a certain team, we're going to be able to play that a lot better versus something that you're uncomfortable doing.
Well, a lot of football fans, when they think of speed, they're thinking of wide receivers and tailbacks. But speed on defense is so important, and you guys run the ball so well, man. I mean, it's just you're just like a pack of fleas with one big giant flea out there called Eli. But you guys run the ball so well, and your pursuit is the lateral that you guys recovered. It was like a race to the ball. And I thought one of you guys was going to knock the other guy down so you could get it. Your defensive speed is really good.
Well, I'm just glad Harry picked it up. He's got a tendency of, if you watch his film over 4 years, he loves to just fall on it. I don't know if he's scared of being caught by the center and he doesn't want that being on film or what, but he did a great job. He actually hit a new speed PR for us for the year. We track it with our GPS units, and he was excited about that Friday that he ran fast. He still almost fumbled the ball. I don't know why he did that, but he finally picked one up and went. The game versus West. These two both had a chance for the ball, and Harry thought that somebody was coming, and he didn't realize it was Tanner coming, so he just jumped on it. And Tanner told him after, hey, that's a country phone. We got to pick that up and go. So he finally took that and went with it. But it was good to see him pick it up and run. He didn't get caught by the center, so that was good.
Yeah, you never want to get caught by the center or the right tackle running down the field. You never live that down.
Yeah.
All right, well, be sure to check out this Friday night's game on South 60 Films, where you'll hear the beautiful voices of Doug and I.
Don't ever say it again.
And good luck.
Thank you.